Apologies for the slight delay. As my response to that, I'm sitting down for this one, because YOLO, that's why. Welcome to Anime Room 101. For those of you unfamiliar with the format, basically the way it's going to work is I'm going to have a succession of guests who are all going to make a submission for something to condemn to Room 101 that they hate about the anime community, and they will try to convince me why it should go into Room 101, and we'll have a bit of back and forth, and we may even throw questions open to the audience. Audience! We'll see how it goes. Anyway, as we're starting to run slightly late, if we can welcome my first reprobate guest, Mr. Richard Perrin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Perrin, so your nomination for Room 101 is...
Fucking Dealer's Room.
The Dealer's Room! So, do tell, why do you want this in Room 101?
I mean, anyone who's ever been to Ayacon will be aware that this is the worst room in the entire building. Certainly in terms of smell.
Have you been to the DDR room?
Think about the DDR room, they do their best, but they can't outstrip the level of BO going on in the DDR room. It's like a singularity of biohazard, all in one place. Just there, like, I don't know, what the fuck is wrong with you guys in the dealer room? Do you know what a shower is? I mean, defend that. I mean, you spend all your con in the dealer room, right?
Yes, I do. I'm there trying to sell.
Have you showered?
I always shower.
Alright, well, why doesn't everyone else? Defend them!
No, I can appreciate the fact the dealer's room does get quite smelly, but that is not intrinsically the fault of the dealer's room. That is down to the people going into it. We can't be held
accountable. If we didn't have the dealer's room, this con would be nicer.
If we didn't have the dealer's room, where would they go?
Go home, alright?
But the dealer's room offers an important function at a convention. It allows the attendees to buy, stock.
Stock?
Stock. I mean, valuable anime-related
We're talking about the kind of shit that basically they wouldn't, if they were buying it off Amazon, they wouldn't bother. Because they're like, oh, I'm at a con, I have to spend money on crap. They start buying shit. Look at this. I didn't even imagine this was worse than I could even. You know what? Forget it. I brought props.
You brought props. This I want to see.
So, this is the kind of stuff you guys are here this weekend to buy. Let's start off with something innocuous. Let's start with art books. Art books are lovely, aren't they? They're lots of work, lots of...
Yeah, I have several art books myself.
How often do you read them?
Art books are for looking at, not for reading.
Looking at? Do you mean like looking at the spine on the shelf?
I must admit, it has been a little while since I took my lovely books off the shelf.
Because out of all the shit in this box, this is the worst one, because this is actually mine. This is actually, I own it, and I'm not going to give it away. But it is, not only that, it's an Escaflowne movie, which isn't even good Escaflowne. But I own this, and I haven't looked at this, apart from the fact I had to do this panel, so I haven't looked at this in years, so that's shite. And let's DVDs. You guys are all buying DVDs, right? Yeah, DVDs? Everyone love DVDs? Persona the anime is fucking terrible. This is one of my favourite games of all time. Fucking shit anime. Defend this! Defend this!
I've got to say, I've actually got one of these at home. It was a good.
I'm not taking this home with me, so I need one of you from the audience who genuinely wants to openly admit they want this, not in an ironic, I'm being cool manner, genuinely wants this. First person down the front gets it.
First person to the front gets the dodgy mouse hat.
Pocky, you're fucking idiots. This stuff is just shit sweets, and for some reason apparently this is amazing and cool because it's vaguely Japanese. Yes, yours. Cat ears, anybody? First person from what's this shit?
Anyone for cat ears?
Anyone for cat ears? You're not at the front, you're just waving your arm at me. Oh, it's this guy. So look, all of you people who collected this shit, fucking shameless. This is terrible crap. You know, you wouldn't steal this shit off the internet. You for some reason throw like 20 quid. And look at the worst of it. Look at this. Look at this horrible, horrible tag.
What is that high quality t-shirt item you hold in your hand?
Seems really cheaply made, actually.
Though I can appreciate some of what you're saying. Wow, the workmanship on this is fantastic. If only there was somewhere I could buy this at a reasonable price.
Is that in a room full of industry shills that basically wouldn't look at you twice in the street except for the fact they thought they might desperately get a few quid off you?
Well, to be fair, would you look at a lot of this audience twice?
I try not to.
Yeah.
I've been looking at you instead, but it's like lose-lose.
But no, I can appreciate some of what you're saying about the tat and, you know, the stuff that's on sale. But again, this isn't intrinsically a problem with the dealer's room itself.
How is it not? How is it not?
Supply and demand. People want it, we sell it.
So basically a room that gets the worst elements of the convention together in a single place, smelling their worst, acting their worst, looking their worst. You think that's not the dealer room's fault?
It's market forces. We can't be held accountable for that.
But, I mean, ultimately, if we nuke the place from orbit, wouldn't that the best way to make sure that everything is fine in the rest of the convention? I mean, like, the only advantage of the dealer room is that the worst elements, the people I don't want to see in the bar, they're all there instead. But again, if they all died and couldn't come in the evening, that would be like, the convention would be 20 times better. If the dealer room was instead some kind of death trap, where they all died, they got their shit, and on the way out they were crushed to death and burned alive. Amazing.
Well, that's quite an extreme approach to the scenario. That's a good Kickstarter. Kickstarter at a dealer's room. Actually, I'm not sure if there's one actually here, but do we have a gopher with a microphone? Because I was told there would be some.
Gophers, microphones.
Gopher with a microphone?
There's totally not. Oh, here we go. We got a commitment room with it. Commitment room here. Do your work.
Harry, I told him this was your copy, and his first question was, is it safe?
No, absolutely not.
So can we get some impressions from the audience here? Hands up, please. What do people think about putting the dealer's room into room 101?
It's terrible.
Hands up, anyone who wants to make a comment on this?
I made about £6,500 selling fake cattails.
So your argument for defend the dealer room is that you've managed to swindle idiots out of money. but would you mind if they died afterwards?
Okay, we've got a quick question from over here.
On a side note, how much is the shirt?
The shirt is 15 English pounds.
It's not available in this dealer room because they have nothing good in there.
Where is this dealer's room?
What? Are you selling your shirt in the dealer room?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll take it all back. Buy this shirt.
Truth in advertising.
So, okay, got a question down there.
Having personally organised a dealer's room at a convention, over the years, I'm with Parrot on this one. You're all cunts.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. Questions, anyone with their arm up?
It's all a fake, Parrot.
Thank you for that.
I just must say, if the stuff on Amazon wasn't so expensive, I'd buy it all on Amazon.
But what about eBay?
It's expensive on eBay as well.
No, it's not. Some Chinese person will work like minimum wage. Someone will work as a slave in China to make you this good, and some minimum wage worker on Amazon will deliver it to you. You don't need the dealer's room. You're fine.
But the dealer's room, you get the immediacy. You can get it there and then. There's something to be said for that.
Having someone look you in the eye and go, "You know how horrible you are." And this is the shit you want. Do you not think the impersonal nature of Amazon allows you to get away from the fact you're buying like some fucking ridiculous hugging pillow? Which you want.
Do you have a problem with hugging pillows then? I've noticed there seems to be a trend with you.
I think you're a big fan.
I've got no strong opinion either way, but I think your main problem with the dealer's room is I don't think there's anything that appeals to you. It's not that you hate the dealer's room, it's just there's nothing that you want.
No, it's not I hate people like you. You're in there selling shit, ruining these people's lives.
But it's stuff they want.
They don't want it. They just got like 20 quid for their mum because they're allowed out the house for the first time. They're allowed to spend their money on their pocket money on whatever they want. They don't know what they want. You're just ruining them for no reason.
Yeah, but I'm stopping them like spending the money on like drugs or something.
Drugs are better. Your t-shirts are shit. Great.
Yeah, but the t-shirt, you get more use out of that than you do out of the quick snort of whatever might be
You know which
going.
one I'd enjoy more? You'd be...
You know, I reckon there is something that you would like to buy in the dealers.
What's that? What's that?
Because I've been looking around and I think I found actually a hugging pillow that you would like. I've got a picture of it here actually, it's on the market soon.
I would have the fucking shit out of that.
Okay, well, we're going to have to move on to the next guest, but I'm afraid Dina's room isn't going in. Deal with it. Off we go. Big round of applause for Karen. Okay, now we move swiftly on to our next guest. Nurse. Drink for you there. Okay, now this was quite an interesting choice for Room 101 because this next thing is very popular, but if you could just enlighten us as to what you want to see put into the room.
Maybe lost. Get out the entrance. The exit quicker after doing that. Right, so, yeah, obviously I was asked to be part of this, and I thought, well, what can I put in room 101? What do I not like? What can I came up with some boring crap. You know, because they're talking about, I think, you know, cosplayers don't actually rate their costumes entering competitions. Hot topic. But I thought, no, what's really going to get me absolutely fucking lynched here? It's dear to the hearts of many people, and I sit there grunting in the background every time it's brilliant. I was tempted to do Pete. I work for him now. So this is going to be fun. And I do rant about this occasionally. You know, to rant about society, and I
Do you realise that your probation's not over yet?
Is that you, God?
So glad I didn't compete. So, I've gone stick in room 101, Cowboy Bebop.
Silence in the theatre. Let the man put his argument forward. You will have your chance to reply later. Silence! So, why Cowboy Bebop?
Probably to get that reaction. Partly because, I mean, as running anime societies go to cons and that kind of thing, you talk about what anime people know. And the same few things come up, even though it's years and years and years on. It's either what's currently popular, which vanishes after a year, or it's Evangelion, it's Bebop, it's Trigun. And you know, you kind of get if you're advanced, Escaflowne. That's when you know it's a true fan.
Oh, I have problems with that show.
That's why you've heard of it. This is the thing. But it's been the fact that it's been elevated to this complete level of this is, you know, everyone must see it. It is the one they say, you know, if you want to watch something, you must watch Cowboy Bebop. It is the best thing ever. When it was one of the things I put off, because when everyone says it's brilliant, I don't need to watch it. I'm looking for new things that people haven't heard of to show to my society. That was my job. It was one of those, you know, I just accepted it's good, because everyone else has watched it rather than saying it's shit, 'cause it's popular. So it came around to the time I watched it. I think it was actually Escaflowne, and I was talking to someone saying, it's epic, very big story, you know, all the plot, it all ties together, it's brilliant. Anyway, it's a bit shit. You know, we should watch Cowboy Bebop. It's better than this. I mean, I don't know if it's good. It's better than again. So the story really ties together, you know, epic. You know, so okay. So you know, I watched it and it's like, okay, you know, I can see that there's story threads everywhere. They can tie together. This can be some lock, stock stuff, yeah. No. You know, episode 23, I was like, oh, it's going to all cascade. It's going to surprise me because I'm not seeing it. Is there more? Oh, there's a movie.
Yeah, movie set earlier in the show.
shit. I thought animation was great, sounds great. I was expecting plot, I was expecting story, I was expecting the characters, and I was expecting everything to make sense. And all I saw was gaping plot holes. And I'm fine with that. A lot of animated shit. I still enjoy it. But it's the fact that it has been elevated to this massive amount of just, this is the one you should watch, this is the perfect anime. And I was like,
It's exquisitely animated. It's got some fantastic episodes. I mean, it does have a long-running undercurrent plot. Admittedly, it doesn't come to the fore particularly often.
well, yeah, there's 2 episodes I like, which is the first episode and the final episode. But the plots I can, especially most of the characters, I can boil down and just sit there and even some fans, and actually, because I haven't watched it in a while, I actually literally go to Wikipedia last night and go, am I right in these plot holes?
Wikipedia agreed, did it?
Wikipedia agreed, so, you know, a credible source of information on plots of things. Yeah, it's
Citation needed.
Citation needed, absolutely. It came down to things like, I love telling, is anyone going to be minding about biting what spoilers at this point? You know, we showed it earlier today, which I didn't know.
The show's old. If anybody hasn't seen it, tough.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
exactly. I mean, it's the perfect anime. I should have watched it. Yeah.
Okay, so check out a couple of your main bugbears then.
Okay, so let's go with Jet Story. His whole thing is he's got this cybernetic arm, and kind of say, you know, you got the cybernetic arm. Why didn't you get like a biological one done? And he's like, oh, you know, I've got reasons why I don't think. Oh, backstory. And you know, you find out over his backstory that basically he's, you know, he was shot in his arm by his partner. He was a cop, and he got shot in his arm by his partner. And he's like, oh, yeah. I just said about spoilers about 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be full of spoilers. Deal with it.
There's a lot of
To be fair,
spoilers
it should
here.
be part of
Like
cultural
dreams.
osmosis by now.
And yeah, I was like, yeah, that's kind of good. So I thought about the timeline, because we only find out that he was shot by his partner in the course of the action that leads to the flashback thing. So hang on, he didn't know this. So his reasoning was, well, I never got my arm replaced because I was a cop, and I learned an invaluable lesson that sometimes bad guys shoot at you.
Yeah, that was true.
He's chasing a criminal, and the guy got shot, and went, oh shit. Well, never again. That's not the job a police officer should be. And not many people realise that until I explain. They go, oh shit. And I come on to and this one's a bit more complicated, but it's Spike's one. Now Spike I didn't like generally because it almost felt the anime trope. He's the guy who's like lazy. I'm an amazing martial artist and practice every day. Kick your ass any day. But you know that's kind of a common trope. And his whole thing about, you know, I've looked over the galaxy for her. No idea who she is. Never found her. It goes back to the planet we left her on. And then she said, you know, you told me to wait here. I haven't that planet. No, I've never been back there. You told her to wait there. And search the rest of the galaxy instead of going back there.
Problem?
This is actually a very valid point. Sure.
You know, and I think it's like, no, you deserve. Bam! Yeah, you deserve that. You know, all the years you could have taken off this fucking rock.
I've got to admit, that is something that did occur to me about the show when I was watching it, because you get the impression Spike's on the run from the mob cartel that he used to be part of. And then it becomes apparent later in the show he's a well-renowned bounty hunter, and it's like they didn't find him when he's like tracking down people for their own organisation, and it's just like, that seems like a bit of an oversight.
It's hiding in plain sight, he's a ninja. I can't really do mine so much, but then you got Faye. I quite enjoyed Faye's character for quite a while, and I really like the entire idea that she's been frozen for ages, and when they wake her up, they tell her, you know, well, what about this debt you had? You were going to pay us afterwards, and because she's got this amnesia, and they kind of knew that she would. And they turn out to be just complete fraudsters. They've been scamming her for ages because they just found her, opened her up, and went, we've no idea who the fuck you are. We're going to give you a fake name, tell you you should rich and you just need to pay us off. And then she spent her life, you know, running and all this kind of stuff. I think, that's really cool. And then she meets someone from her past who calls her by the name, the fake name that people randomly made up. They just happened to guess what her real name actually was. Anyway,
So you're saying there's some logical shortfalls there. I mean, do we have any audience responses to... Perry.
I'm dreading this. So I don't watch anime, because anime's fucking terrible. But it's one of the few things that is actually good this entire fucking fandom has ever produced. What the hell is wrong with you? And that's my question. What the fuck is wrong with you?
topic argument, but some idiot in the front there.
I have to agree with Nert on it. I was disappointed to see that out of all the 90s anime, there's Bebop that's getting some shitty Blu-ray release this year.
For those of you unaware, the man who's just released that Blu-ray release is one of our guests.
There are other classics of the 90s that...
Yeah, it's in the dealer's room at a reasonable price.
I just think there's other classics of the 90s like G Gundam that deserve that.
Whereas I was almost damaging my own argument. I think that all that's been done up on the Blu-ray is the pictures, and the pictures are the pretty bit, the plot's the shit. Okay, the audio is good as well.
We've got another audience response here.
I kind of have to agree with Nert on some level.
Which level?
It's my first run through of Bebop. I've not watched it before. I've only ever seen it in bits, and I got the HD, Blu-ray, whatever for my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and it was pretty good. Animation's good, sounds better, etc., etc. But there are massive plot holes everywhere. I've only seen the first 13 episodes, and you've got to sit there thinking, Christ, is this it? And I've watched, typically grown up with a lot of the 90s anime, and I will say that there's something about 90s anime that is just that. They have to have the massive plot holes. They have to have all of that stuff. It's just part of the nostalgia to have it. Really. So, I agree with you, yeah, it is shit in some respects, but it's the nostalgia that kind of elevates
But it's
it out.
expected to be shit.
Yeah, it's very MGU, for Christ's sake.
G Gundam is nothing but pure
G-Gundam
quality.
is pure and simple, but yeah, you have a nostalgia to it, so it kind of works to a level.
Because I'm thinking about when I actually watched it when it came out. Well, obviously I'm taking a while for it to learn to know about it, so it's like there's no nostalgia there.
Okay, got a question over here. Okay, what we'll do you next. First, this gentleman here.
Definitely got to say that Cowboy Bebop's amazing, but the reason for that is very simple. It's an adventure, it's lots of fun, and it's anime at the end of the day is entertainment, which it does brilliantly.
I'm sure I've got better than Adventures, they spend most of the time like this.
Well, it's the reason why it's good, because it's quirky. It's very different from what everything else will do. Giant robots, impending doom, and and it's on a spaceship, and you have an episode where they're trying to survive against a mutant lobster, which they've forgotten in the fridge. It's ridiculously... It became an alien. Well, yeah, I know, but the whole point about it is it's quirky, and it's different, and it was really funny. And that's why people really bond with it. It's like watching Tomb Raider and thinking there's going to be a really in-depth plot line which everyone's going to...
This is going to be a 2.
Yeah, well, they can't get enough Angelina Jolie, what can we say?
Okay, so I can roll with the idea, yeah, just, fun and cheerful. This lady down here.
Hi. So, you just said that the only good thing that was going on about it was the visuals.
We're talking about the Blu-ray release, the only thing they've upgraded
The
is...
thing about Cowboy Bebop and why it has still held on for so well is because it was a perfect intermarriage of so many qualities. Sure, there were plot holes, sure, some of the characterizations wavered from time to time, but it was the dialogue, it was the character interaction, it was the visuals as well. It was what it meant at the time, how new and innovative it was, and still is, compared to a lot of the tropey things coming out. And it was the fact that there was Yoko freaking Kanno doing the soundtrack. And she is amazing.
There was some very good possibly plagiarised jazz in it.
Hey, my grandfather's a jazz musician and he used to hang out with Louis Armstrong. I win.
Okay. Right, one final comment from our actual microphone gopher.
I'll get to it, that one, anyway. So it was the perfect intermarriage, and it's still what's wrong.
You've had your time. Round of applause for the lovely lady here. Okay, quick comment from our gopher then.
Bring it.
Sounds to me like your problem is not the show itself, but the pedestal it's been put on. So maybe you should just chuck pedestals in room 101.
was actually genuinely fearing the question of saying, what would you put on it instead? It was all shit. I just like shit.
Okay then, well, after careful drunken consideration, I can appreciate some of your arguments, and I've got to admit, I am quite highly tempted, but... Silence! As a compromise, Bebop itself won't go in, but the pedestal that Bebop has been placed upon is going in room 1. Now our next lovely guest. Oh, you've escaped, guys. Well done. It's Tab. Okay, fair warning. There's going to be a lot of dodgy imagery coming up. If you could just let us know the nomination for room 101.
Okay, because I've lost my hair, people aren't recognising me. My name is Tab, I make costumes and I write comics. Now, I considered some cosplay stuff I could chuck in, but at the end of the day, I write a queer webcomic, and along with that, I sometimes draw porn, which is a fantastic job. I highly recommend it. If you ever get into the porn industry, just stay in there. Therefore, I wanted something that I could be truly angry about, and therefore, I'm going to put in room 101 for me, badly drawn hentai. Now, in the effort to not just bash against people still learning with drawing art, all of the images that I've given to the lovely Keith here are published manga. This is an example of anatomy gone wrong. It's similar.
There's a magnificent amount of butter going on here.
It's similar to the bleach slip. Is anyone familiar with that? It's like, oh, I need to draw this woman's breast. Oh no! If we just go on to the next one, what we got? Yeah. I'd like to reiterate, published hentai.
That's a powerful reaction.
Yeah, that is. I don't know why it's cut out. I really don't know. I mean, what do you think the scenario that led him to this situation was?
I am so energized by whatever sport it is I'm doing. My nipples have exploded.
If you please. Next. Okay, right. This needs some close analysis. This is an example of an artist who doesn't know where a butthole is. If you notice, it's actually nestled just like it's in his scrotum. It's basically on his scrotum. I had a couple of images for this, but it's when yaoi artists take pictures of women and use those for references, and they put everything in the wrong place. And it's just sloppy. I mean, my main argument is that, in many ways, porn is a suspension of disbelief. It is fantasy. And I don't know, I'm sure it applies to other people, but as an artist, when you look at something and you're just like, oh, that's attractive, but wait. I don't think that's where a vagina is supposed to be. It's just distracting and it pulls you out of it, really. It's like bad stuff. And, well, this isn't just yaoi. I've got some, heterosexual stuff, if you like to click forward.
I fear what the next slide will be.
I don't even remember. Okay. This is an example for when boobs get so large they don't know what physics apply.
Yeah, we're looking at it from behind, aren't we?
It's from behind. I don't think they do that. I'm not sure. Does any woman here have breasts big enough that we can...
What's going on there?
Shall we continue forward?
Just a quick aside on that one. I mean, is it a social faux pas in Japan to put your dick in the mouth of someone you've only just met?
I didn't actually
to a belly button. Like, they're literally here.
See,
Just want to go next. So, are we ready, guys?
Are we ready for the next
Everybody's
one?
ready.
Okay.
We're so close.
This is... Yes, that's it. Everyone's turning their head sideways. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How many images did I give you?
I think there's one more after.
There's one more. Okay. I know which one that is.
Okay, make the silence, make the silence. The man needs to speak.
It's over 18
Come on, deal with it. Come on.
Okay, the next one is in the realm of pornography and drawn pornography.
So before you go on to the next one, what's the point on this one?
What the fuck? That's the point.
I must admit, her vagina is as big as her head.
I don't know if it's an example of really poor censorship. Maybe,
Or really
maybe.
bizarre perspective.
Yeah. Right, okay, shall we? Shh, it's okay, we over soon. Okay, sometimes in drawn porn they draw the insides too. Oh no, wait, this is so, sorry, we've got one more. Sorry guys, we can skip ahead. But it's just weird, alright? Can we read any of the text?
Well, perfect. I'm going to give your pussy, which has only been satisfied by mini dicks.
I love this position. The feelings of we don't know.
I can make up just by putting it in.
Our boobs are talking to us. I just love being bisected by this side. It's so enjoyable. Okay, next. Now it's the inside shot. Okay. Gird your loins.
Are your loins suitably girded, audience? Well, tough.
I mean, don't correct me. That's where her backbone lives.
We've also got some classic anti-dialogue by hips are moving on their own.
Oh wow, it is so good. Ooh. The other thing, I was going to expand this further into the realm of... Yes, it is physically impossible. My argument is mainly that it's distracting and annoying, and people should read an anatomy book and learn how orifices work. That would be great. The other thing I was going to cover in this was porn that could kill people. And I tried to find a video of, you know, like the tentacle porn, where it goes up through and then out the mouth. And I just sat there with my friend Amy, like, come on, this will be fun, this will be fun. And
Remind me never to go around your house.
And by the end of it, we were just like, no, we can't actually do this to other people. And we clicked it off, feeling like NARM victims.
Okay. Badly drawn porn. I can appreciate it's distracting, but, you know, at the end of the day, how else are these people going to learn? They've got to start somewhere.
It's like saying abstinence-only education is the best.
Well, look, I mean, presumably somebody's turned on by this. I mean...
People with low standards.
Well, look, I mean, surely... Now, come on, bear with me now. I mean, at the very least, you assume they must be turned on, otherwise they wouldn't draw it. I mean, is there anything like...
Actually, as someone that draws porn for other people, it's tedious as fuck. I know, it looks like I'm lying, but it's just boring.
But I'm going to have to disagree with you, because just for this, I thought I'd try drawing some of my own. Now, sad soul that I am an absolutely huge, massive fanboy for Tifa from Final Fantasy VII and Sarah's Victoria from Helsing. So I thought, perfect combination right there. I'm gonna make the world's hottest Tifa Sarah's lesbian team up. And you're gonna see this right now. I admit. It's not the best drawn, but the passion I put into it several times while drawing it is shining through. Page one. The key lens of pornography is to set the scene. As you can see, Tiff has walked in, who knows somewhere, another franchise into Helsing. And, you know, she's like, Sarah's, you're obviously hot. Sarah's, you give me $1 million lady bonus. Scene is set. Scene is set.
You be Tifa, and I be Sarah.
Okay. Super little style.
I am totes in lesbians with you.
Okay, now the final page, if you're a bit on the young side, this might be a bit much for you.
I love you, but your wife is watching this. I am gushing lady juice. The thing is, this is just bad fanfic, and I'm completely behind bad fanfic because that means they don't leave their rooms. But this is about commercial pornography being awful. Like, you tried your best, but I don't think you're ready for the big leagues.
What do you think was lacking?
Well, your colours were good, but your anatomy needs work.
You make me sad. Do we have any audience comments on that? Up at the back there, in the PB. Rush.
I know we're limiting it to like pornography, but surely it's just bad anatomy in general. Because have you ever seen a comic book when it's like, wow, I didn't realise women's spine could twist 180 degrees.
Are we talking about the Rob Liefeld effect? I think we can all get behind that, yeah.
But yeah, I understand that it's people's fascination, but for fuck's sake, these people need to learn fucking biology. I agree with the guy. They need to realise that dicks don't go that fucking way.
Well, I think that's fairly emphatic, really, so.
You sometimes wonder what anime fans' first timers are like. When you've got all of that is what you know.
That is a good point. It's destroying a whole generation of like weeds. Okay. You know, I'm going to agree with this one. Badly drawn porn is going into room 101. Guest. Would Mr. Partridge please take the hot seat? Would you like some whiskey?
I would love some.
Minor pause for whiskey, audience. Talk among yourself. Yes. And no.
Maybe.
Okay, so I met quite sadly this is. It's probably most of the audience won't know who you are, which is a shame because if you have. Apart from that guy, you're one fan.
It's probably my mum in disguise.
But basically, any anime that you've bought that's been from Kaze or Bees in the last few years, the only reason it's come to the UK is thanks to the hard work of this man here.
Hey, Pete, stop it!
Who has our little crackhead who's now recently set up his own distribution company, whose first release was Cowboy Bebop. So show the man some love. A lot of the reason a lot of the anime you love is in the UK is because this man has been fighting for it. So.
In true tradition, instead, like since we talk about shills and such earlier with Perrin, I'm going after a different Florence Shillingale today.
So what is your nomination for Room 101?
It's particularly live action adaptations of anime and manga. Relatively short and to the point actually on it, which is not actually, as you would think, Dragon Ball Evolution, which has caused physical pain to many people, including at least one incident somewhere.
We'll get to that one.
My husband's pretty much just, like, Pacific Rim did it all already, it's G Gundam live action, go home everyone, it's done.
So what would you say was your main problem with live action anime adaptations?
I think it's normally just, if it's come from a manga or like or direct from anime, it's normally just someone who's clearly seen something that has worked once and gone, hey, that's a great thing, let's adapt it to, like, it's designed to be fantasy and such. It's drawn, in some cases, like Attack on Titan, like the actual comic is designed to be unrealistic. It's the worst drawn piece of work ever. It's not something which adapts well to live action. Anime you can get away with because you can do a lot of things you can't in live action without a ridiculous budget. But most live action adaptations of anime don't have that budget. So.
Well, no, I mean, I've got to admit, I did mean to watch Evolution before coming just to see what all the fuss was about, but unfortunately, timetable didn't quite work out for it.
That's what you say.
But I know there's a lot of bad live action anime adaptations, but I heard there's been some good ones. I mean, the Phoenix Wright movie was apparently fantastic, and the
But my point is, with those two done now, that's it, over. You know, they're running out of the cheap, easy ones. I mean, Phoenix Wright is set in a courtroom. In one courtroom, it's one scene. You can spend a bit on the budget there. They use the same effects team who do Pokemon. Like, that's all the other thing they've done. Like, and when they use that, like, obviously they've had so much pent-up ability over the years when they said, do you want to do something which isn't Pokemon? They're like, oh god, yes, please, that's how the Fox monster will behave. You know, something good. Kenshin is a samurai film with, there's a little bits of fancy humor, but it's basically a samurai film. How can you fuck that up? You've been doing samurai films for a long time. Give them something like they're doing the live adaptation of Attack on Titan, for example. I can give you so many ways they could fuck it up.
I didn't realise they were doing that, but...
Enjoy.
I'm quite torn on this one, because yes, there are a lot of god-awful live-action anime adaptions. But the problem is, I mean, back in the day, it was always down to the fact that, you know, to pull off anime-style effects live action is a logistical and cost nightmare. But with the way special effects have moved on these days, I mean, a film I'd like to bring attention to, not because it's particularly good, but the action sequences, a Sucker Punch. That shows you can do live action anime.
But the issue is with that as well, isn't it more that you can do the same things you could do in an anime or a a manga, but you don't want to take plot structure, they don't adapt well to a feature, they always end up running over 120 minutes. Which, unless...
Yes!
There you go, right there. Like, they go on too long as well, that's another problem. Whereas, like, take Sucker Punch, which I would argue goes on too long in general anyway. Take Pacific Rim, for example, such the best anime adaptations are ones which are not really adapted. Black Swan as well. Basically, Aronofsky was inspired by Perfect Blue, he bought the rights to it, and then he went off and made something not related to it, like, but he used the bits to see the rights. Like and such. The best things are things which take the ideals of it and do something
so
like
the best
more
anime
logical.
adaptions are the ones that don't involve any anime influence whatsoever.
Indeed.
I mean, do we have any audience reaction to this one? Gentleman over there. Third one in there.
You're complaining about anime adaptations to live action being too long. Lord of the fucking Rings. Extend it.
I dislike long films as well. Working in the anime industry, I have the attention span of a cokehead, to be honest.
I think that was like your problem.
Not to imply that I am.
It was mentioned a few moments ago. The live-action adaptation of Space Battleship Yamato was fucking incredible.
I heard it was pretentious.
Lee Painful.
Space Battleship Yamato's pretentious. I mean, it would go with the live action. They basically did the first series in 2 hours with incredible effects. They were faithful to the story, and it's one of the best live action adaptations I've seen. And I've seen a few. And most of them are, I agree, shit. But Yamato was brilliant.
It's done now, so if we stop them now while the going's good, we're still all winning here, is my argument. I'm not going to travel back through time and kill every director who's made one. I haven't got the time for this.
Julian Night Shyamalan!
Okay. Just because it was mentioned by an audience member earlier, because, let's face it, Avatar The Last Airbender. Now there is a show. Wait. The actual animated show, which is fantastic, obviously quite anime inspired, fantastic show. Come on, more applause for anime. I've got to admit, I have a high tolerance for shit films, but Avatar The Last Airbender, my fucking god. So angry.
We got it for someone's birthday once and made them watch it. It was their worst day ever. I am impatient.
But yeah, I bought Avatar The Last Airbender for £2.50 from CEX, and that was £5 too much. Got a question over there from Mr. Gertrude. I love the sigh I heard from one audience member.
Love you too. For many, many years, comic book adaptations into movies were fucking shocking.
Super Mario Brothers was glorious.
He-Man movies where it's at.
Master of the Universe is a classic.
Sorry, good question.
For many years, comic book adaptations were fucking shocking. The 70s Spider-Man films, terrible. Some of the more recent ones, also terrible. But
Captain America film.
it took in the 90s one or the 60s one.
The 60s one where he keeps punching people in the face.
So it took 30 to 40 years of Western comic adaptations before some good ones, such as Dredd, such as, arguably, The Avengers, started shining through. Do you not think... No, not Judge Dredd, Dredd, the noise.
Dredd is fantastic.
Dredd is fantastic. So surely...
That's the one with Stallone, right? Because that's...
No. So surely we should give anime and manga adaptations into movies the same chance that we gave those fucking awful comic book adaptations, and maybe by 2030 they won't be fucking awful anymore.
It's a very good point, but no. Well, the argument there is a fair point, but it has been going on for about... it's been going on for quite a while, the live action adaptations. I mean... Oh yeah. Need we go back that far? I mean, even I don't know, I think...
I don't like the microphone.
All because of that one incident with the penis, come on.
It was your penis, Keith, and my counsel has advised me not to speak to you again.
Well, we've come this far, get on with it.
No, honestly, the issue's more a budget one as well. I mean, the reason the movies recently got better is because Disney have stuck their dicks into it with money. It seems Bruckenheimer's let them down now with Lone Ranger and such, and they
So this whole panel for me has been worth it just for that line.
But basically the issue is Japan doesn't have that. They don't have someone literally hemorrhaging money and looking for new pet projects. I mean, it took Disney time to buy. They had to buy up the comic book studios. I mean, look at Green Lantern, for example. That's Ryan Reynolds dressed up. No, I can't even say that with a straight face, to be honest.
His eyes are too close together.
We're verging dangerously here, Keith.
Sorry, just
But no, like, I mean, it's an issue with budget. I think you could give it another 20 years and you'd still be dealing with the majority of... Like, I mean, take recently, like, they're remaking Harlock, but they're not doing a live action, they're doing it in CG. And that kind of works again because they can get the best of both worlds. Something like... Yes, again. But like, you can do something like Attack on Titan, for example, pulling the most recent fan example
got a question from
in
Sylvia.
that style. And probably make it work on a tight budget. But live action, like, it doesn't really, like, go that way.
So I've got a quick question from the audience here.
Just maybe you can agree that it would be better if we banned specifically the Americans from adapting. Because all the terrible adaptations come from them. Even worse than Dragon Ball, Dead or Alive, movie adaptation.
I've always said that I'm a very equal opportunities policy. I will discriminate against everybody. So, like, I don't know, like, I think different titles, and some titles which are culturally accepted, like in each territory, maybe, but I think we have to be safe and really seal it all in the concrete sarcophagus here to be safe.
Okay, now
That's the only
question for
way.
the front down here.
I want them kept because I really want to see the HBO adaptation of Monster. He wants it chucked in Room 101.
Well, it's a TV series, so...
What are your feelings towards the ongoing attempt and multiple abortions of trying so hard to make a westernised version, live action, of Akira?
Contentious issue.
White people Akira.
There's no problem with recasting, just look at Avatar the last one.
That worked really well, wait, though. Didn't your counsellor advise you not to discuss?
Tetsuo, I mean Jai. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I would say that, like, the issue is, again, it's faithfulness. I mean, Monster A is technically a TV series, so I mean, if it is live action, I will give you that. But, like, I don't know. Like, I think if you're going to put them all in, it's a small sacrifice, especially given we don't know if it would go past the pilot episode. But again, they could change it. I mean, what if they changed Monster from being in West Germany to being in America? Which, you see, like, you see someone shouting no there, why would you say no to that? I can't see what they are. I'm like,
Put your hand up and I'll get you the
I'm face blind.
Right in the middle of the audience, where it's most awkward to get to. Now, I've got to admit, I'm quite...
There's a lady there.
No, you're too far out.
Too far up! Too far up! There's the ladies over there.
Surely the reason most of the time they put it in America is to westernise it. Germany's already in the West.
You'd think so, but like it's true. The fact they speak German might be the issue there.
The culture difference, perhaps.
I guess that's an argument towards like local, like letting other territories have a shot, because things like, you know, like in the UK at least there's been a resurgence of things like Swedish crime drama now and such, which one of the actresses from Sweden, when they asked why is it so popular, was quote unquote because Britain has suddenly learned that you can turn subtitles on. Which I thought was specifically relevant for here. But my fear is very much that they'll just convert it all into effectively localised, which moves the charm.
I'm quite torn on this one, because I do quite agree with the comment that maybe given a bit more time we could see a comic book level resurgence in it. Because I did phone up the Japanese film board just to ask what was the problem with all these shitty live action adaptations. They said you dropped a fucking nuke on us, fuck you. And I was like,
such bitterness.
But with that said,
hey, that was
racially insensitive. Too soon. Right, I've reached the decision, and I think I'm going to put shitty live action adaptations into Room 101. Okay, well, we've had some pretty contentious issues so far from our guests. And our next guest, who is our big name of the night, suggested something which I hadn't heard of before, so I'm quite looking forward to this.
Thank you for having me.
I've got to admit, when I received your nomination, I was quite entertained because I've never actually encountered this particular brand of insanity in the UK before.
It might be something that only in America would people be this ridiculous.
So, if you could please tell us what your nomination is.
My nomination is for an element, a subculture of the anime and video game fandom referred to as otaken.
See, I've never heard of this. Obviously, for the audience reaction, there's people who are aware of it.
Oh, it's delightful.
I think it's insane.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, I've got to be
Impartial. For those who aren't familiar with this, there is a subculture of individuals who have fully, completely convinced themselves that in a past life, in another dimension, they were an anime or video game character. Like, they have all their memories. They have their memories. They remember the entire experience. They firmly believe and vehemently argue that all the anime and manga writers and artists actually didn't create these characters, but they just could see past the dimensional vortex and just plagiarize the world that they came from. And they got some of these stories wrong. They'd be like, look, when I was Kenshin, that's not how that battle ended. Okay, I remember. And they find communities online where the people are going
so what
like...
you're saying is that Shinji actually got in the robot, possibly.
I'm sure there's a forum somewhere with 4 Shinjis that all agree that happened.
They're all famous characters, aren't they?
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. There's no NPC characters.
Well, that's the thing. In a previous life, I was the one black guy in Evangelion.
That's amazing. I love that. Like some person on the forums got like a long diatribe, like, no, I remember. I looked back into my past, and when I was that baker in episode 14 of Trigun, I made some good pie. But they got it wrong. The pie wasn't anywhere near as delicious in the show. That's bullshit.
Because all I had to work with was sand.
No, it's amazing. Like I remember hearing about it years ago, and again, like just like going into the rabbit hole of this insanity, and it's a large community that all just supports each other with rallying cries of, yeah, that's right, you go, real Goku. You show them how Akira Toriyama knew nothing. And it's amazing, and they'll dress up as the characters and post pictures of themselves, like re-embracing their spirit and really truly coming to themselves. There have been some that have legally changed their names to match the character they believe they once were. It's incredible, and should be burned from the earth.
That's the thing. After getting your nomination, I thought, I'd better do some kind of research into this. And I made the dubious decision where I found a forum. Where I saw some interesting things. Screenshots. No, unfortunately no screenshots, because I don't think it would be fair to actually put real people's comments on the screen. Real bastard. I think the thing that disturbed me most is the fact that they felt that their spirits were going through a transformative process. And they gave a detailed breakdown, because they assumed at some point that your spirit of whatever anime character that you were in this alternate dimension would actually take precedence in your body, and you would start going through the physical changes. And it gave a survival guide with how to cope with these physical changes. I was reading through this, and it's like, this is puberty. That's normal. This is not you turning into whichever fucking character you've got a boner over. This is just life.
Can I just clarify a question? What happens if they're the same person? Like, do they fight? Do they have like, are they like...
I would hope so.
In the same room.
No, I would hope it would be like some Highlander shit where they go meet in a parking lot somewhere with real blades and settle it like men. That would be amazing. But no, they all get to a point where they all kind of agree. Maybe they're like fractured aspects of the same spirit. Like it's a holographic universe type thing, and they all, as a unit, together, have collectively the memories of the individual, and you're like,
scientists somewhere going, this isn't why I invented quantum theory.
As they're having a TED Talk next year where someone like breaks the mold on otaken and realizes, no, this is true. Like you're going to like the whole string theory turnabout and be like, wait, Faye. What? It's just so utterly frightening.
So I have to ask though, being a BA, have you ever bumped into someone who has had the soul of a character you voiced?
I have once, or they didn't say specifically they had the soul, but they came up to me. This was shortly after the Thundercats aired, and they came up to me at a convention and said, "Thank you so much for finally putting this story out for the rest of the world to enjoy, to know the trials and tribulations of when I was lying out." This was at ThunderCon down in Southern California, and it was just one of those things where they said this, and I didn't look through them. I looked back into my life, and all the things I'd done as a child, and then growing into a young adult, and the friendships I made, and the relationships that I went through, and the experiences I had as a human being, all the way up to this moment, and thought, this is the culmination? Then came the 2 months of crippling depression and alcoholism, but you know. But yeah, no, one of them actually came out into the open, into the physical world, and decided to share with me how important it was that I was telling the story of their brother so strongly.
I'm trying to keep a straight face, but this is impossible. So, in the interest of counter-argument,
Can't these people just be happy on their own? Like, as long as you don't have to hear about it personally, why do you care?
well, not even that, I suppose, as long as they're not, hurting anyone, is there anything really so wrong with it?
Yeah, whatever helps you wake up in the morning.
Whatever helps you get through the day. It's like, I go into work, I work in this telesales call centre, I hate my life, but I know, deep down, I am Goku. Well, yeah, on the phone there. Oh, you've got a problem with your electric bill. All the power you need right here.
My phone bill's over 9,000.
To answer your question, no, it is not okay not to be left alone. Well, I mean, I understand, if someone really needs, if it's a confidence boost they use to continue with their life, then that's fine. Many people draw inspiration from various historical, mythological figures, individuals in entertainment that they themselves connect to and enjoy, and they look up to those people. But then to say that you are that person, and then the people that created that character are fucking wrong, and that you're right, you and the 5 others of you are the only right ones?
They didn't create the character, they're just seeing it through the lens of reality.
Exactly. And as long as you use that inspiration to do something good to society, yes. But for the most part, I can just tell they only go in this forum. That's all they do.
So you're saying it might be a bit more acceptable if they were using their anime skills to enrich the world?
Essentially, yeah. If they went out like Kenshin would and helped old ladies across the street, or helped advance the field of microbiology, or I don't know, something like that, maybe it'd be a little weird,
well,
but like, you go.
If aliens ever invade Earth, there'll be one guy coming forward going, I'm Shinji.
Do you want to open this up to the audience?
Yeah, let's get some audience impressions on this one.
Alright, no first.
Alright, no first.
So I want to know what happens if they think they're a character and the series is still ongoing. And then something after it comes out, do they always say, oh, everything must be wrong from this point onwards? Or their character is revealed to be the traitor? I want to watch that moment.
So that's not so much a question as a wet dream of a week of dark. Chloe over there.
What if the character's actually dead in the series?
Then that's when their spirit crossed over to this realm to remember.
That raises an interesting question with Goku, especially. He keeps coming back. How the hell did they like rationalize that one?
I wonder if someone's like Phase 1 Goku or like Season 3 Goku, you know? They'll have a Goku party somewhere and apologize to each other.
All these Gokus just standing around going, so, yeah, that was a bit shit, wasn't it? King Kai, massive douche.
Afterwards, they got banging the door, like, I don't open it outside.
We've got a very insistent hand on first, this one, then we'll get to you, sir.
Does this include the people who also marry video game characters and anime characters?
It's different, but I'll put it as an addendum to it.
Also, while we're talking about this, I feel it is necessary for you to tell the story of your old Italian stalker when you were Sephiroth back in the day.
When you were actually Sephiroth? He doesn't look happy.
There's some points where you're excited that you brought your girlfriend to a convention. No, I'll try and keep this short because this is a long story. But no, I had an appreciator in New Jersey,
I've heard that
Los Angeles, who contacted me to work on a short film. They wrote a short film and it was great, and they wanted to cast me in it. They were familiar with my work, and they left me an email with a phone number to call, and I was like, all right, sure. I gave them a call, asked what the project was about, and immediately she told me, well, it's a fan film. It's a Final Fantasy VII fan film. I wrote it. I would love for you to play Sephiroth, but you know, it's about like his previous history and his love story with this character named Ricky, and like, you know, I hope you're comfortable with like, you know, there's a lot of pretty passionate love scenes in it. I hope you're okay with that. And like,
did you turn up and it was like a hotel room?
It's all telephone, and at this point I'm like, well, I can only do it if it's union, and I know who's directing it, and I'm basically trying to find all these little outs without being an immediate dick about it. And I was like, and have you done any other casting? Who's playing this other female? I'm just like, oh, well, I'm playing her. But you know, my husband's fine, he doesn't know. So he just and I'm like, okay, cool, all right, well, I gotta go, bye. And then she sent me an email afterward with like, you know, copy the script of her fan fiction and asking me, you know, hey, it's really cool, I'd love for you to you know, to take this over and here's some pictures of me. You know, hope you like it, Winky, and like, oh God. So I responded with, once again, if you could send me information about the producers and the director and how legitimate production this is, what your budget is, if you're doing union or not, that'd be great. Also, the photos you sent were ... interesting. To which her immediate response was, interesting, huh? Well, there's more where that came from. Nudes. Just straight up nudes. But they were all nudes from like 1984. Like you can tell from the decor in the household and the furniture she had in electronics, like this couldn't have been much past the era of the VHS. Like, it was amazing. And from there on, it was match made in heaven. No.
So you're saying you didn't go?
I did not. I decided it was probably against my better interest in, you know, surviving the rest of my lifespan than to be worn by somebody else's skin. So,
fair enough.
There you go.
Okay, we've got a question from the gentleman back there.
There you go. Look at that, pack some work.
Come on, go for more energy. You're only given feelings of self-worth. I want to see you do a backflip. Barrel roll.
I just really want to say that it needs to go in room 101. This isn't as nice as, like, you know, that story. Jesus Christ. But I'm into Homestuck, and there's someone notorious in our fandom. There's someone absolutely notorious in our fandom because they think they're car cat, and they compare their struggles. They're also trans-ethnic, but let's not go there. They compare their struggles to that of transgender people, and to the point where they will go and pick fights on Tumblr because Tumblr's shit.
Like picking a fight on the internet isn't shit.
We all remember the days of 4chan. And then, just to make matters worse, they also decided to announce they were other fiction came over of one of the Columbine the people who did the Columbine shooting. So please, for the love of God, can you put that in room 101?
Okay, Gove, I'm going to have to make you run to the front now for a question from Mr. Hibiki down here. I'll consider it that you've had your time. You've had your time.
If this doesn't make it into room 101, I'm burning the building down.
Well, that's a powerful argument. Mr. Hibiki.
I just want to tell you, what you're saying is absolutely true. All these people who are going out and just pretending to be these anime characters and all this is absolute bullshit. And as the real Dan Viki,
I've had this long sinking fear for the past few weeks that that was going to happen. Even more impressive if it actually was. Just like straight up, just like, oh, okay, he's real. I'm gonna go.
by the way, that portrayal you did of me in Street Fighter, the High School Musical, was bullshit.
I'll try that better next time.
Okay, after careful. So I just keep looking at this picture and I'm just like, that's haunting my dreams. Yeah, this shit is going to move on and on. Okay, well, a big thank you to all my guests. Yeah, I think Chen and Knife are here next, so if you're not staying for that, you can just